Call the roll, please.
Councillor Pringle?
Present.
Councillor Mackey?
Present.
Councillor Barfoot?
Present.
Councillor Burley? Councillor McQueen?
Present.
Gordon Halladay?
Present.
Councillor Patterson? Councillor Hicks?
Here.
Councillor Clumpus? Councillor Greenfield? Councillor Body?
Present.
Councillor Wright? Councillor Fosbrook?
Present.
Councillor Woodbury?
Present.
Councillor McKean?
Here.
Councillor Ardell?
In attendance.
Councillor Eccles?
Counted for.
Councillor Bell?
Present.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. It's a full house today. Thank you for all attending. The first order of business is the adoption of the minutes. Or, no, first of all, does anybody have a declaration of pecuniary interest? They can state it now or as it arises. So seeing none, we'll move on to the next, which is the adoption of minutes. And point A is County Council, the minutes of County Council meeting and Committee of the Whole meeting dated April the 26th, 2018, and the resolutions contained therein be adopted as presented. Do we all together? Councillor Barfoot? Councillor Burley? On the floor, any discussions? Councillor Fosbrook?
Thank you, Mr. Warden. The presentation that was made to Mark Graham last week
Yes.
got me thinking that I'm curious to know what sort of updates we can expect going forward on provincial offenses as a department of accountability, if you will. Don't hear much about it, and I know there's been a few things going on, so I just wonder, should we expect any regular reporting on that segment of our business?
Well, I think our CEO can respond to that nicely, so.
Through you, Mr. Warden. I can let council know that for the foreseeable future, it will be business as usual at the Provincial Offences Court. We met with the Crown Attorney, and the information that is most current from the Ministry of the Attorney General is that Grey County is likely to be in the third wave of Part 3 downloads, so we don't anticipate seeing that until October of 2019. So we're actually grateful for that. There are changes that will be required to our memorandum, let's try that again, memorandum of understanding with the province. And so those things, as they are worked on, will come back as reports to council. And certainly Amanda will be taking charge of the budget, et cetera, so you'll see that as you always would. As far as the prosecution part of things and the Director of Legal Services, we are going forward with a new competition for just the Director of Legal, as we discussed earlier, and that recruitment process will start in 2 weeks.
Thank you very much for that.
Any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion? The motion is carried. The next is that the Committee of the Whole closed meeting minutes dated April the 26th, 2018 be adopted as provided to County Council. Put on the floor. Move Councillor Hicks, seconder Councillor Greenfield. Any discussion? Councillor Fosbrook.
So when I looked in the portal last night, I didn't see the minutes. Was that, did I miss it somewhere?
We'll check Heather on that.
I did check late last night, and I apologize, didn't have the opportunity to say I haven't seen them, but I haven't seen them, so if it's just me, then let me know.
We'll let you know.
Thank you.
Are we checking, or should we?
I picked them up this morning.
Yeah. Yes, Councillor Fosbrook.
And if I may,
You're there, so.
if I may, the next item sort of got jumped over last meeting. So it says closed meeting matters if required. So if required gets determined as the next motion, or are we just gonna, because last meeting, we didn't even have that motion.
It's being put on there to facilitate discussions in closed if we so need it.
Fair enough.
Okay, so it'll be determined if we so need. All right, any further discussion on those minutes?
So can I ask, did everybody else see them? Did you have access to them in the portal?
Well, our staff at the present time is saying they can access the portal, so perhaps just may need a roadmap. Yes, Councillor Pringle.
Yes, no, thank you. I would agree with Councillor Fosbrook. I had a hard time locating. I wasn't able to access them. I've been able to since this morning, but yes.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe there was a glitch last evening. It is available now, so I apologize if you couldn't see them. You want to discuss them? We can go in camera.
I want to read them, and then I'll tell you if I want to discuss them. So can I just take a minute to try and read them?
Councillor Eccles.
Is there anything that is time-sensitive in those minutes? I would make a motion to defer passing this until the next council meeting.
If that works for everybody, then, yes, Councillor Burley, you're seconding. You're putting that motion on, Councillor Eccles, to defer? Councillor Eccles?
Yes, that's why I said to
okay.
defer it till the next.
Yeah, I just wanted to verify that. And Councillor Burley, you seconding that motion to defer? All in favor? All right, so technical glitches do happen, and staff will make sure that the directions to get to that portal are also there. Yes?
I will say that the intent was to be bringing a further report back to council for our next meeting, but I'm just looking at Savannah, where there's nothing specific here that's of a time-sensitive nature. We'd have to amend the agenda later on.
No, the deadline's the 25th.
Right, so we can be okay. All right.
Okay, so that's good, so. All in favor of the deferring? Yeah, we did that already. Okay, thank you,
Do it
sorry.
twice.
Thank you, Councillor Eccles, and Councillor Fosbrook, Councillor Burley. All right, the next one is that the minutes of the 2018 Wardens Forum dated April the 24th, 2018 be adopted as presented. On the floor, Councillor Patterson, Councillor McKean. It's okay, I'll get it someday. Thank you. Any discussion? Councillor Fosbrook.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. One of our council members did address the topic of communication at the Wardens Forum, and it is something that I've talked about at the lower tier, and I'm just wondering if the CAO has any further update on the implementation of the communication strategy and what we can expect in the short and long term to come from that. I have talked about it at the lower tier that, I'm interested to see how it rolls out so we can implement improved communication at all levels.
Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Warden, as committed to earlier, there does need to be an update of the entire operational and strategic plan brought forward to council. I intend to do that in June. And so the details of some of the specifics around the initiatives being completed by Communications and Manager Rob Hatton will be part of that report.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Okay, so all in favor? That motion is carried. Section 6, which is the closed meeting matters, if required. I don't see there's any requirement, as we didn't delve into the closed meeting at this time, as it wasn't available for some. Next is the Board of Health report. That the Board of Health report dated April the 27th, 2018, and the Board of Health minutes dated March the 23rd, 2018 be received for information. Put that on the floor. Councillor Barfoot, seconded by Councillor Mackey. Is there anybody from Board of Health here today? Well, our esteemed chair of the Board of Health may want to make a few comments then.
Thanks, Mr. Warden. Unfortunately, Dr. Eyre is on vacation. Dr. Lynn just was away the first week and arrived back late yesterday, and I didn't have a chance to talk to her to see if she was coming to the meeting today or not, but looks like she had probably at the office getting caught up on some other business. Just, I guess one of the major highlights from the board was we received a 2% increase in funding for 2018, which is the first time we've had an increase in 4 years. 4 years ago, we had a 1% increase. This year, we received a 2%. And as of yesterday, I received an email from the ministry where we received an additional 1% top-up for special projects. So as a chair, I'd like to take full credit on getting that, but unfortunately, I'm just the messenger passing that on. So some really good news for us. So from a board perspective and dealing through the doctor, we'll certainly have additional programs that will be able to be provided in 2018 with the additional funding.
Thank you. What's the quick math on 1% for?
You got me there, I don't know.
Okay. That was a question I hadn't planned, so I didn't have the answer. But anyhow, I know that there's some other special projects like a new supply for our generator system, and I would assume that money.
No,
is that separate?
that's a separate project, actually, same as the roof project. We're all then under the special one-time funding for capital. This other was one-time funding for projects within the unit of the mandate. So as I say, there's some additional products or programs that we'll be able to come forward with. So.
Right, and I assume that we will get details on those at the next board meeting then.
Correct.
Okay, any further discussion on the Board of Health? Yes, Councillor Fosberg.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I note that there is an update on emergency management, and I'm wondering, and, you know, perhaps we can wait until the next meeting. I'm just curious to know if there's in fact any change in the Board of Health's role in emergency management. It appears to be so, but I'm just wondering if anybody can elaborate further.
So Kevin's not here.
Kevin isn't here.
Bring it back.
We'll bring it back. It's a good question.
Thank you.
That it's certainly involved. Councillor Barfoot, you'll make a note of that?
Yep.
We'll address that at the next meeting. Thank you. Okay, no further questions, and we'll call the vote on that. All in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you very much. The bylaws. Bylaws 501618, a bylaw to authorize the warden and clerk to execute a transfer payment agreement between the Corporation of the County of Grey and the Ministry of Agriculture, Food and Rural Affairs for the Rural Economic Development Program. And bylaw 5017-18, a bylaw to authorize the warden and clerk to execute a lease or license or renewal agreement between the Corporation of the County of Grey and Sahara Garden Center for a portion of the former CP Rail lands directly southeast of Plan 15, lots 10 and 11 in the municipality of Grey Highlands. Any put that on the floor? Councillor McQueen, seconder. Councillor Boddy, thank you very much. Any discussion on the bylaws? Councillor Fosberg.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. Page 76 of the agenda package, page 27 of 34, Schedule E. It relates to reporting. So as we get grants and funding and whatnot, and where a final report is submitted, in this case, in this program, it's due July 31st, 2019, are those final reports public information?
I
We'll defer that
You,
to.
Mr. Warden,
Yeah.
I see no reason why they wouldn't be. Normally, those commitments are spelled out in the original transfer payment agreement, and then this is just our record of how we fulfilled those commitments. We don't normally bring them back to council, but if someone wanted to see them, I see no reason why they couldn't.
Thank you very much.
Is that a request or for future or for this one or?
Well, I guess I'm seeing how, you know, the province gives us money, and I appreciate they want to know what we did with it and exactly how much we used, and in some instances, if you don't use it, you lose it, you send it back. So for accounting purposes, I'm just interested to know that those final reports, the culmination of all of this, is in fact public information. So thank you for that.
Thank you, and CAO will work on getting some information for me on that. We don't often lose it, so. Any further discussions on those bylaws? All in favor of the bylaws as read? Thank you very much. Those are now passed and carried. Number 9, good news and celebrations. I'll go around the table. Councillor Eccles, you're first on, and then Councillor Ardell.
I'd just like to say, a week ago Tuesday, I had coerced a number of council members from Grey County Council and a number of others. I had the privilege of participating in the Heart and Stroke. Grey County staff had put together a team to ride the big bike down Main Street of Owen Sound, down past Austin Graphics and around past the harbor and back up again. I'd like to say thank you, Randy, if you can extend it on to Scott Taylor, who was up front. I think we were the only two that were pedaling. Everybody behind us was enjoying the scenic ride. Just wanted to say congratulations for the event, but to staff that had organized it, and say a thank you to all that sponsored Heart and Stroke, and it was especially noted by myself that one of our council members in West Grey and a former county council member is recovering from one of those afflictions as we speak. So, good news.
Well, thank you for that update, and thanks to all the members that contributed to that good and charitable event. Any other good news? Oh, Councillor Ardell, sorry.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Warden. The past week, we had the 65th Conference of OSIN, Ontario Small Urban Municipalities, and there was a large turnout, 214, which were local politicians, exhibitors, and speakers. And it was held in Niagara Falls, and it was a great turnout. Next year, it will be in Renfrew County, in Petawawa, so there'll be a lot of people going there because they haven't been there in probably 25 years. So whoever is re-elected next year, I hope you will attend the conference. And hopefully it will be a great conference just like the one that we just held. And it was a lot of good speakers and insightful information that we did receive.
Thank you, Councillor Ardell. I did have the pleasure of going, and it was a very good format and good information. So, and when is it on the OSIM website for the information? Do you have that?
For next year?
No, for the summer reports.
Oh, the summer reports should be coming soon. We have to put it through AMO, and then there will be out there for the presentations, be online.
Perhaps you'll notify County Council when it's available, so that, because there is good information. Oh, thank you, Councillor. Yes, Councillor McQueen.
Well, thank you, Mr. Warden and County Council and guests here today. Just want to bring up to, as an announcement and a sense of what's happening in Grey Highlands on the weekend of June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd is the Grey Highlands School Reunion, 50th year. And there will be an evening event along with a number of events that it is on the website. If you go to Grey Highlands Secondary School Reunion, you will find it there. A number of events planned for that weekend. One of the committee members who sits on that steering part of bringing that together is here with us today, David Fawcett. So if you have any questions, if you did go to that school, follow up with him with that. But certainly it's going to be a big event here coming up in the first part of June. So just want to bring that forward.
Thank you, Councillor McQueen. Yes, Councillor Barfoot.
Thanks, Mr. Warden. Just wanted to congratulate the staff at, or some of the staff at Grey County who helped participate in the very successful Healthy Communities Conference that was held at the Bayshore the last 2 days. The entire conference was really dedicated to working with Indigenous issues, and the participants, speakers raved on the organization, how things had been so well organized. So if I start mentioning names, I'll miss somebody, so I will refrain from that, but just want it noted that it was an exceptional day-and-a-half conference, and want to thank everyone who helped with that and who helped participate.
Thank you. I had the pleasure of attending, and it was a good conference. We met a lot of people, learned a lot of insightful information about our Indigenous community and life in general. So thank you for that.
You know, just one of the chiefs, I had a conversation with him yesterday, and he asked me what I knew what they called a warrior who was a poor shot. And I said, well, I wasn't sure. And he said they call them a vegetarian.
That's good. Yes, thank you for that. We had good food there, supplied by the Flying Chestnut. from Eugenia. All right, so that being said, any other information to be disseminated? Well, thank you for that, and we'll call for a motion to adjourn this council meeting. Councilor Pringle, seconded by Councilor Ardell, and we'll take a pause, and then we'll start our next section.